Hello everybody and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to have a little bit of a look at the new Ironjaw supplement for Age of Sigmar. That is right. Games Workshop has dropped a supplement which is a free download and can be found over on the Warhammer community page. If you just go to downloads, Age of Sigmar, the supplement will be there to be able to be downloaded for free right now, which means you don't need to buy the Dawnbringer Crusader book 2, where it will also be. But if you want to buy the cool books, go ahead and buy the book, but you can get this supplement. Now, just as a quick note, to play your army, you will still need to get Battle Tome Orruk Warclans. This kind of just bolts on top for your Ironjaw players. So let's have a little look at what it has. So the contents is you've got the basically a little bit of fluff, biggest than the artist. You've got mobs, fists and brawls. So you've got the new models, which are the Tusk Boss on the Maw Grunter, which is the really big pig. You've got the Maw Grunters, which is a big pig, which is not the hero. And you've got Arda's Nails, which is the new Ard Boys and the characters for them. Fury of the War, the supplement itself, and the War Scrolls, which you can see there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 new War Scrolls have been added to the Ironjaws, which is pretty cool. And then there's some pitch profiles at the end as well. So you've got, which is pretty cool, all of the fluff and the lore as well, which is kind of awesome. You know, it's not just like, here's a load of War Scrolls and stuff like that. It is like a little mini supplement, which is cool to see. So you've got all of this, the background, and it tells you a little bit about the big pigs and the Ard Boys and all of this kind of good stuff, which is kind of nice. Tells you about this new character and all of the Ard Boys, and also the Brute Ragers and the Weird Brute Wreckers, which are 2 new units. We've kind of seen them before in the Underworld's warbands. There was like the sort of Ironjaw semi-naked up from the waist up. So they kind of, that's where they've got the idea from. So a nice little showcase of the new miniatures. We've got the Ard Boy Big Boss. He looks very, very nice. I will be getting this guy to do a painting video for him. There's Zogrok, the Anvil Smith. I really love this sword. Very World of Warcraft. And we've obviously got the Big Pig. And as you see in the background, there's the new Ard Boys as well, and the new sort of Berserker units. So here's the big pigs. Pretty cool. I like the pigs. Pigs about to smash some lizards, and the new Ard Boys. This Ard Boy here up in the black armor looks really, really nice. Really does look nice. And the new Brute Ragers and Weird Brute Wreckers, which are basically, I'd imagine it's going to be a dual kit. And we'll see what the weapons are going to be like in those kits, because obviously there are weapon options for each of the guys. So as I was saying, you are going to need a copy of Orruk Warclans to play this supplement with. And it says in the bottom, the Orruk Ard Boys War Scroll on page 26 of this supplement replaces the Orruk Ard Boys War Scroll in the Battle Tome. In addition, the pitch battle profile in this booklet replaces any pitch battle profiles for any Orruk Ard Boys with an earlier publication date. So Ard Boys are completely being updated. This is where you now get your War Scroll and your points for them. So first things first, let's jump in and we'll have a little look at the Tusk Boss on a Maw Grunter. So they have this really cool thing now with their movement, and it kind of changes with the momentum score, and it kind of tiles in as well with their rend and some of their damage for their weapons. So basically this unit has a momentous score that affects the value represented, the little asterisk. So as you can see, the rend, the damage and the movement for this unit is shown on a momentous table. At the start of the battle, this unit has a momentum of score 1. So basically the top line of the momentum table. Each time this unit finishes a run or a charge move, add D3 to its momentum score. This unit's momentum score can never exceed 6, and at the end of the turn, subtract 1 from the momentum. So basically what you want to be doing is you want this thing to be charging, you want this thing to be running. And amazingly, I believe this thing can run and charge. So you're going to be moving it fast. You can have an army of these things. Let's just think about that now. You can take this, and I believe you can take the normal version as a battle line option, and you can run an army. That's pretty crazy. So let's see what this thing does. So even if we just look at the momentum, the Tusk boss on the Maw Grunter is armed with a Pick Hacker. The Pick Hacker is a 1-inch reach. It has 6 attacks. It hits on 3s. It wounds on 3s. It's -1 rend, and it's 2 damage. It's pretty solid. It's a pretty solid damage output for a 14 wound, bravery 8, 3-up save, basically hero, which is quite good. The Mighty Tusks on the pig itself, it's got a 2-inch reach. It's got 2 attacks. It hits on 3s, wounds on 3s, -3 rend. That's lovely. And it does a damage equal to the momentum score. So it starts out at D3, then it goes up to D3 plus 1, D3 plus 2, D3 plus 3, which is obviously depending on your momentum score. You want to get it up to 4 to 5, preferably, and then really try to ram home that 6 for when you can smash into people. It's got trampling troughs, so it's got 4 attacks at 1 inch, 3s and 3s with -1 rend, and then D3 damage. And then the Killer Choppers, which I presume are these guys on the side, they've got 2 attacks each, 2-inch reach, 2 attacks, 3s, and the rend can go up to -3 depending on the momentum score, and they do 2 damage apiece, which is cool. So the mount, this unit's Maw Grunter is armed with the Mighty Tusks and the Trampling Trotters. This unit's Hacking Crew is armed with Killer Choppers, which are the ones at the bottom. And then what you have is Head of the Stampede. So if this unit makes a charge move, you can re-roll charge rolls for all friendly Maw Grunter units on the battlefield until the end of the phase. Wow. So re-roll charge just if this gets to charge across the battlefield for your Maw Grunters, which are the non-hero version of the Big Pig. That is nuts. While this unit, so it's got headlong charger, so while this unit has a momentum score of 4 or more, 4's the sweet spot, the unit can charge even if it ran earlier in that turn. So turn 1, you're going to run, and you're going to really want to hope for a 5 or 6 on that dice to get that score up to a 4, because then turn 2, you're going to be able to run again, and you're going to be able to charge, which is absolutely amazing. Hack and charge, so you can carry out the Crave, Carve a Path Monstrous Rampage below with the unit instead of any other Monstrous Rampage. So basically it has its own monstrous action. Now all of them have the same one, so we'll only cover it this once. So Carve a Path is pick an enemy unit with a wounds characteristics of 4 or less within 3 inches of this unit, and roll a dice. If this roll is less than the unit's momentum score, that's a big one, that enemy unit suffers a number of mortal wounds equal to the roll, and you can immediately attempt to charge with this unit. Now, there's a lot of people arguing about this online right now, because currently if you're within 3 inches of an enemy model, you are not allowed to charge. So what I imagine this is going to be doing is you want to kind of hit a unit on the side, and then you want to basically take off get your opponent to essentially take off the models near you, so take you out 3 inches, and then charge. I would imagine that this may get an FAQ in regards to if you don't, because your opponent may not necessarily take those models away from the pig. I know I wouldn't, because I wouldn't want you to be able to charge. So that might get FAQ to say that this is actually, it's still able to charge even if it is already locked, essentially locked in combat. Because unless I'm mistaken, there is no rule to say that you can charge if you're within 3 inches of an enemy. You can pile in and fight, but you kind of have to be able to be outside of 3 and within 12 to be able to charge. So I'd be interested to see how that stands. If the glorious Mr. Peter, our great TO and rules guru here in Northern Ireland, is watching this video, leave a comment below what you think, how this reacts, Pete, because I'd be interested in your thoughts. Or if there's anyone in a better know-how than me, let me know, because that's an interesting one and it's probably going to get FAQ'd. When a unit charges in this manner, it can pass across enemy units with a wounds characteristics of 1 or 2 in the same manner as fly. There's a lot of things like this. Bloodlights have the same kind of thing, which is kind of cool. So this is pretty cool. If you want to do a giant pig army, this is the guy that you're going to take to do it. So next thing, we have the actual giant pigs. These are the pigs that you're going to have as your essential battle line, I believe, or it could be that one. I think it's that one. This is, nope, this is not a hero. So this is like if you want a slightly bigger, heavily armored pig. It has a 4-up save, it's got 14 wounds, bravery 7, and the momentum is exactly the same. Again, it's pretty much got a similar loadout and damage profile to the hero. But this is an elite, so this model can issue the commands to itself. It's got a mount, it's got the hackers, it's the unstoppable momentum, the headlong charge is the same, and the hacking charge is the same, and the basically the monstrous action is the same. The monstrous rampage is the same. It's essentially a non-hero version of this guy, and it pretty much does the same. 6, 2, 4, 2. Oh, it's got 6, 4. Yeah, it's got slightly 2 attacks less than the main attack from the pig hacker, but it's essentially, that's about it really. Okay, so onto the normal pig. This is the one that you're going to be able to take as battle line. It's got 12 wounds. It's a 4-up save, and it's got bravery 7. And again, momentum is exactly the same. It doesn't have the 2 guys at the side, so it's only got the Gorger Chopper and Axe, which is 4 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1, 2 damage on the top. And you've then got the Mighty Tusks and the Trampling Trotters. Now, it is a monstrous regiment. Only one model in this unit can carry out a monstrous rampage each turn. This unit's more grunters are each armed with blah blah blah, and it's got all of the other things it is. Now, I will, when we get to the pitch profiles and the points, be interested to see if these can be in units of more than 1, if they could be reinforced, which I imagine they will be able to if you're going to battle line them. So you'll be able to get at least a unit of 3 of them if you do use 2 reinforcement points, to have at least 2 units of 3. So that could be kind of cool. So we got the Ard Boss, Big Boss. So this is the Ard Boy. He's the really cool new model. He's got a 3-up save. He has a movement of 4. He has 6 wounds, and he's bravery 7. He's 100 points, by the way. This guy is 100 points and an absolute steal. An absolute steal. So he's armed with the Big Boss Hacker and a Chopper. It's got a 2-inch range. It's got 5 attacks. It hits on 3s, wounds on 3s, -1 rend, and 2 damage. Pretty solid output, not bad. But this is where it gets kind of good. So this unit can issue a rally command up to 2 times in the same phase. If it does, so each command must be received by a friendly Ardboys unit. No command point is spent for the second time that this unit issues the command in the command phase. And in addition, when a friendly Ardboys unit receives the rally command from a friendly unit with this ability, you can return 1 slain model to the unit for a 5+ instead of a 6. So 2 units get to rally, potentially bringing 2 guys back. That's really, really cool. And it's got get bashing, so add 1 to the shield bash rolls made for friendly Ardboy units while they are wholly within 12 inches of any friendly units within this ability. +1 to the shield bash, which we'll get onto very soon. I believe at the end of the combat, you roll for every model that's within range of an enemy unit, you roll a dice for each model, and on a 6+, they do mortal wounds. If this guy is wholly within 12 of that unit, you'll do it on 5s and 6s. So that's kind of solid. For 100 points, you're going to take this guy if you're going to be going hardboy heavy. I would be inclined to bring 2 of them. Zograk, the Anvil Smasher, is the new named character for the Hard Boys. He's got a 3-up save, he's got Bravery 8, he moves 4, and he's got 7 wounds. This unit has a squig, is armed with a ramming head, must remain within 1 inch of Zograk, and the rules purposes and are just a single mini. Now, I really wish they would just put these two things on one large base rather than having them separate and have the rule to state that they have to be within 1 inch. This is kind of a bit of a change because the Lord Imperator from the Stormcast Eternals has a little griffin. That's kind of his little friend. And it has the rule that it has no purpose whatsoever on the battlefield other than it gives you that attack profile for that model. I don't know why they just can't do it like that, or just put it on a larger base and have the two of them together. It would just make things so much more simple. But he comes with the Skull Crushing Basher, so you've got oh wow, you get options. So it can have the Skull Crushing Basher and one of the following weapons: the Ward Smashing Chopper or the Grunter Tongs. So basically the second or the third option. So his main weapon is 3 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1/2 damage. Looking at the option, the Ward Smashing Chopper or the Grunter Tongs, I personally would probably go for the Ward Smashing Chopper. One, because there's a rule here for it. It's 2 attacks, it hits on 3s, it wounds on 2s, -2 rend, 3 damage. I like that. The Grunter Tongs, 4 attacks, 3s and 4s, no rend and 1 damage, meh. And then the little squig does 3 attacks on 3s and 3s with 1 damage. So Power of the Great Green God. So in your hero phase, you can pick 1 friendly Ironjaws unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit and roll a dice. Add 2 to the roll if this unit is armed with the Grunter Tongs. So this is where you're now going to have to think, do you want damage or do you want this special rule? On a 4+, that unit's weapons are green hot until the start of your next hero phase. While a unit's weapons are green hot, unmodified hit rolls of a 6 for attacks made with melee weapons by this unit causes 1 mortal wound in addition to any damage they inflict. Okay, that's potential because 6s doing mortals in addition is quite nice. But what does the Ward Smashing Chopper do? If the unmodified hit roll for an attack made with this unit's Ward Smashing Chopper is a 6, and the target has any wards, that unit's wards are smashed. If a unit's wards are smashed, for the rest of the battle, ward rolls cannot be made for that unit. That is what I'm going to go for. Screw mortal wounds off this guy or giving an Ironjaws mortal wounds. Not interested in that. Getting rid of a ward save for the entire battle is absolutely amazing. Can you imagine this guy running up to something like the Gash and just going, dink, you no longer have a ward save. Screw you, I'm now going to fuck you up. That is so good. So good. And it does quite a bit of damage as well. So all you have to do is, if the unmodified hit roll for an attack made with the... So all you have to do is roll a 6. 1 6 on 2 dice. That's really cool. 1 6 and you lose your ward save. Brilliant. So the Brute Rages, these are one of the new units. They've got a 5-up save because they're semi-naked. They've got a 4-up move. They got 3 wounds and a Bravery 7. Now, each model in the Rages unit is armed with one of the following: the Chain Smasher, the Mighty Gore Hacker, or the Brute Smasher. So each model in the unit is armed with one of the following. They're elite, so they can give themselves command points, command abilities, which is kind of cool. I would read that they can each have one of these weapons each. They don't all have to have the same weapon. You can have one of these each if you really wanted to. But you're probably going to try to go down all of the same, because some of the weapons are quite good. They're Berserkers, so this unit can run and still charge later in the turn. And they've got Bone Shattering Strike, so if the unmodified hit roll for an attack made with a Brute Crusher is 6, that attack causes 3 mortal wounds to the target, and the attack sequence ends. Do not roll armor saves or anything else. So the Brute Crushers is 3 attacks, 4s and 4s, -1 rend, D3 damage. And if you roll a 6, it does D3 mortal wounds instead. that sounds cool, but personally, I would probably go for the Mighty Gore Hackers. Because he's got 3 attacks, 3s and 3s, -2, 2 damage. I like 2 damage, it's kind of cool. Or you can go for the Chain Smasher, which is 6 attacks, 4s and 4s, -1, 2 damage. For me, I would go for the Gore Hacker. Turning that mortal wound into a 6, into 3 mortal wounds on 6s is good, but you're not really going to get 6s all that time. Plus, this thing hits on a 4 anyway. You can get it up to a 3 if you go all out attack, but it's still going to be wounded on 4s, and it's only -1 rend. I definitely prefer the Mighty Gore Hacker. I would probably arm all 3 of mine with the Mighty Gore Hackers. It would definitely have to be looking at this to see what this can happen and how this plays into something like a big war, where you're going to be able to increase the hit roll and the wound roll through your war points. Then maybe the Brute Crusher then actually starts looking a little bit better. So the Weird Brute Wrecker, again, 5 up save, 4 move, 3 wounds, and a bravery 7. These guys are elite, just like the others. They've got 1 weapon option, which is the Chain Smasher. It's got 6 attacks, 4s and 4s, -1 rend, 2 damage. Cool. If this unit has a hit roll and made this unit is a 6 and the target unit has 10 or more models, that attack scores 2 hits instead of 1, make wounds. So basically, if you've got 10 or more models and this thing hits you, and you roll a 6, it does an additional hit, which is kind of nice. It can run and charge, and this unit has a ward save of 5+ while it is within 3 inches of enemy models. I quite like these guys because they've got a little bit of survivability once they're in combat. They do additional attacks, and with other models you could potentially give them mortal wound output, but they're not bad. I quite like them. Now for the hard boys themselves. So they've got a 3 up save, 2 wounds each, they move 4 inches, and they've got 5 for their bravery. So each model in an Orruk Ironjaw unit is armed with one of the following weapon options: an Ardboy Chopper or an Ardboy Sticker. All models in this unit must be armed with the same weapon. One model in this unit can be a boss and add 1 to the attack characteristics. You also get a standard bearer, which adds 1 to your bravery. For this unit includes, if this includes a Gorkamoka relic glyph, which you're going to do that. You've got Here We Go, so add 1 to the attack characteristics of a unit's Ardboy Choppers. If this unit made a charge move, that's really cool. +1 attack on the charge, really, really nice. The stickers is improve the range characteristic of this unit's stickers by 1 on a turn that this unit charged. Nice, Rend 2. And then you've got the Shield Bash, which is basically, as I said earlier, roll a dice for each model that is within 1 inch on an enemy model at the end after this unit's fights and all its attacks has been resolved, and on a 6+, boom, you do a mortal wound. If the hard boss boss is within 12 inches, wholly within 12, you're doing that on 5 and 6s. Now it's weapons, so you've got a choice here. So the choppers are 2 attacks, 3s and 3s, -1 rend, 1 damage. Or the stickers are 2 attacks, 4s and 3s, -1, 1 damage. But you do have this, if you charge, you're going to be rend 2. Again, you do have a 2-inch reach, which is kind of nice. But that 4+ is something that I don't really like. But again, if you're going to be playing something like a big war list, you can manipulate these numbers anyway, and then you'll be able to get that up to a 3 and get that up to a 2, and then all out attack you'll be able to. You're not going to get it down to a 2, but you will any minus modifiers. You will be able to take that off. So you're going to get hit on 3s and then wounded on 2s in a big war list, and on a charge -2 rend. So it really depends on what you want. It really depends on how you like it. Personally, I'm not too sure. A lot of people would argue about the 2-inch reach. Yes, but if you position your models right, you're going to get them quite a lot. So the pitch profiles are as follows. So the Ardboys are 10 models for 200 120 points. They are battle line. And obviously the boss, the big boss for them is 100 points. The Zogrok character is 160. He is so good. 160 and have him going for Nagash to get rid of that ward save. Brilliant. So the big pigs. Right. So the big boss is 380 points. He's a leader, he's a burn-off, and he's a single. The normal non-boss version is 270 points. And that's basically your burn-offs. And your Grunter is 180 points, and it's battle line if the general is the Grunter. So if you take a Tusk boy, the Tusk boss, make him your general, the normal 180 point pig becomes battle line, which you will then be able to take units of 3, because you'll be able to increase that, which is kind of cool. But you are, again, I'm going to have to sort of, because I've never really played a monster army, so I'm going to have to sort of speak to the guys and how that works with bear mods, because at 2,000 points you're only limited to 4 of them. So, but that would be a unit, so it's 4 units. Okay, so it could be, you could take the big guy and then take 3 of those ones, and that would be your 4. But you could potentially take battle line. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to see how that would play out and work. But that's it. That is the new supplement for the Ironjaws. It's really nice to see, and I used to be an Ironjaws player. It kind of excites me to see that they're doing this, and hopefully that they'll do this a lot more with other armies. So it's really, really cool. I think there's potential, some really cool, crazy builds involved in this little supplement, and I think you're going to see a green tide at events coming very, very hard on the back of giant pigs. And our boys are really nice, but I'm too much of a brute fan. Brutes are really cool. I've always loved brutes. Brutes are always going to be great. But the new Ard Boys models are beautiful. And obviously the reason why this has happened is because the Black Orc models that were the Ard Boys will probably, definitely go back to the old world, which is kind of cool. And hopefully if that's the case, then we might see an updated version of Grimgor Ironhide. And I'm not going to play all the old world. I have no interest in playing the old world. But if they give me Grimgor Ironhide, an updated version of that model, I will 100% be buying him to paint, because he was one of my favourite orc characters in the old world game. And it would be really cool to get him back, because he was so cool. He had the axe above his head, and he had he had the axe in his hand, and then he had like the head, the Empire head in his hand or something. He was really, really cool. It was really cool. And he headbutted Archeon, so, you know, what a legend. So that is the supplement. That is the video. If you like what I do, smash that sub button, and yeah, give us a subscription, and ring the bell and give us a thumbs up. And if you're an Orruk Ard Boys Ironjaws player, let me know in the comments below and what you think of this. And if you're an Age of Sigmar, what did you think? What do you think of the balance slate? I'll have to do a video on that as well. So catch you all later. Goodbye for now.